future, yeah? Okay, now I will go to Miss Idah Maulidah for her presentation also, and also it is the same, yeah? You're going to be given 20 minutes for the presentation and 5 minutes for the question and answer session, yeah? Okay, Miss Idah Maulidah, the screen is yours. Go ahead.
Thank you, Miss Titut. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Can you hear my voice?
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Clear.
Okay.
Crystal clear.
Yes. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Mika.
Now, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So, this is the second presenter from CAR Colloquium. My name is Idah Maulidah. I am from LIA Cirebon. And my paper here entitled Engaging Young Learners in Online Learning to Practice Simple Present Tense Through Teacher Makes Mistake Technique. The participant of the research here are the same with Ms. Titut, Gail 2B, and the number of the students also the same, 9 students, but we did in different places. Okay, so the content of my research here, on my presentation here, the first is background, the second is introduction, the third is reasons for choosing the topic, the fourth is the theoretical framework, and the fifth is data analysis. And the sixth is result and discussion, and the last part will be conclusion. Now I'm going to start with the first part of my presentation. Here is the background. During online, students, especially Gale students or young learners, cannot stand up, move around the classroom, mingle with other students in their the same classroom, or mingle with other students from different classes. And then since the pandemic, the institution and the school must be closed, but the learning process and the activities are impossibly stopped. That's why learning environment must be transformed into virtual classroom. And the other reason here, the language learning, especially in LIA, requires interactive communications, as well as the learning grammar is unavoidable for language learners, not only for young learners, but all students in LIA. So, or as some English learners, language learning grammar is unavoidable. Now let's move on to the second part. This is the introduction of my research by telling the definition of the engagement. The term engaging refers to how learners get involved during learning process, not only physically and socially, but also cognitively. Engaging students in learning should cover those 3 aspects in order that the learning activity takes place accordingly. Students' participation in learning activity will determine the success of achieving the target language. And the third part here is the reason for why I choose the topic, teaching present tense by implementing teacher makes mistake techniques. First, teaching grammar in online learning is very challenging considering the young learners' characteristic and habit. They are physically active and they are easily distracted. That's why the teachers should create activity that can engage all students in virtual classroom to practice, to communicate, and to express ideas. So here are my 2 research questions to find out whether teacher make mistake techniques in teaching grammar, simple present tense, will be effectively engage young learners in online learning. The second research question is, in what ways the technique can be effectively engage young learners in online learning? And here are the theoretical framework. First is from Felicia Saffold in 2021, page 3. There are the There are three key components in online learning that should be considered when designing online program. They are community building, interactivity, and online presence. For young learners, a sense of community and daily points of connection with their teachers is essential. The second definition from Axelson and Flick in 2011, page 38, they define that student engagement as how involved or interested students appear in their learning and how connected they are to their classes, their institutions, and each other. And the third part, because my research is about teaching grammar, so I include the theory from Larson and Freeman in 1997, page 253. And this is very famous at LIA. Then when we teach grammar, we should cover in three dimensions. It is form, meaning, and use. Form to show accuracy, meaning, meaningfulness, and the use is to show appropriateness. And the technique, what is teacher makes mistake technique? It is a technique that the teacher provides false information. It is different from true-false statement because this activity can be done as a post-reading activities. In the activity, students should revise the wrong information. And now let's see the data analysis. The participants are the students of GALE, or General English for Young Learners, level 2B of LIA Cirebon. There are 9 students that age between 8 to 9 years old. And the research took place during term 2, 2021 on June 2021. And then the research was conducted in 3 cycles. Each cycle consists of 60 minutes. And these are the data analysis. On cycle 1, there are 0 chats. The cycle 2, there are 80 chats. And cycle 3, there are 100 chats. On the first cycle, the first I did on cycle 1, let's say series 1, the students did not use the chat feature on Zoom during online learning. Therefore, the chat number was 0. I didn't implement teacher makes mistake techniques. The first activity, students were only asked to state orally whether they love the town or countryside. Before they convey the statement, the teacher assigned them to make annotation by putting cross or check mark on the grid. They enthusiastically annotated, although all students participated eagerly. The students' participation during online was very low. And this is the activities that I showed to the students on cycle 1. I showed them this grid. I wrote down the name of the students here, and the student should put cross or check mark whether they love the country, they like to look at flowers, they like to see animals, and so on until they climb the trees. One student only should annotate on one column based on their names. And then the result is here. And after they completed the chart, the students should answer orally. And here are some of the examples that I took from my research. They stated, I don't like the country. I like look at flowers, I like see animals, I like listen to birds. So this is about preferences. I don't like to count the stars and so on. So some of them miss the word to here between like and look. Now, because of that, I implemented teacher make mistake technique on cycle 2. Here, I provided false information about living in town and the countryside. The students first were introduced with the reasons why people would love the town or the countryside. The students were assigned to put annotation on the grid of chart whether the reasons were categorized into town or countryside preferences. After students were familiar with the new vocabularies, the teacher showed 10 complex sentences one by one that contains full information in order that the students revise them by typing the answer on the chat feature. All the students engaged actively in the activity, and here is the activities. I show the students slide like this. A student should correct the mistake and they should type on the chat. The first is one. I love the countryside because there are supermarkets and malls. I expect them to revise this sentence via chat on the Zoom. The number of the sentence here, I give them 5. Sometimes I give them 5, or here are just an alternatives. There are 10 sentences, but I show them one by one. And then after I make sure that all the students answered, and then I ask them to type, and then they have to revise. And after I saw this, all the students participated, I will open the number 2. I click number 2. So I don't show all the sentences in one time. I only show them one by one. And here's his other result, the chat result. Okay, the chat expected that actually they should wrote 10 sentences or 10 chats. And here there are from 9 students, there are about 50% participated actively. Only 1 student here, only chat 3 chats since she has connection problems and she has to share the gadget with her brother, because these 2 students were in the same class. Oh, sorry. And then here, grammatically correct here. There are 49 grammatical correct, and then wrong here is still high, above 50%. And then because of that, I implemented the 3rd cycle. I implemented teacher make mistake tactics since the beginning of the session by showing false information about animal habit and habitats. The teacher entreated the students to determine whether the picture shown were correct or incorrect. Then the students must revise the information by typing 2 forms of simple present tense sentences. They are affirmative and negative sentences with auxiliary do. So I limit the activities only present tense by using auxiliary do. Besides typing the sentences on the chat, students also were asked to give annotation on the grid of the table that contain false information. The students' participation was very high since the beginning until the end of the sessions. And here are the results. There are 8 students, but 1 student was absent, and the chat feature, there are 101 lines. All students participated in giving annotation. They have to do it 3 times. So they are 8 multiplied by 3. So they have to do it 3 times of annotation. And after that, the grammatically correct is really high, and grammatically wrong, I consider only 1. Why 1? Let's see the result. First, this is the activity. I give them the charts. Here the name of the animals, and here are the physical features of the animals. This is just one example. For example, I put kangaroos here, have fins. All are wrong information. So it means that I tell the students that I make mistakes, and then I ask them to recorrect by giving annotation on this chart. Okay, after they finish giving correction with this chart, I ask them to revise, to chat, to write the sentences on the chat. So they have to type 2 sentences. For example, kangaroos with plural here, all are with plural, okay? And then I expect them to say like this: kangaroos don't have fins, but kangaroos have pouch.
Miss Ida, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
you have less than 5 minutes, ya, Bu.
Oh, okay. Now here are the result. And the graphic here shows that there are a significant, increasing here. Blue is cycle 1, red cycle 2, and then green is cycle 3. So here, the question, research question is, yes, the teacher makes mistake technique successful in engaging students in online learning. How? I already explained, and I give an additional test here. This is the result of the oral test for GAILs to be, and the score is really high. So the conclusion here, okay, so here are the conclusion. Teacher makes mistake, yes, successfully engage young learners in online learning, visually, physically, and cognitively. Okay, I think that's my end of presentation. Ibu Kisti.
Thank you, Ibu Ida. Okay, Miss Ida, thank you very much. Okay, take a deep breath if you would like to drink. Okay, so the same, just like what we had earlier, yeah. Okay, I'm going to open 2 questions first. You can raise the hand before you ask the question, or you can type the question in the chat box, yeah. Okay, we have 5 minutes to have the questions, yeah. Okay, Miss Derry from Galaxy. Go ahead, Mbak.
Yeah, thank you very much. Ibu Ida,
Yes.
did you invent the technique yourself, or did you get the the inspiration from maybe from other researchers, somewhere? And then my that's my first question for the time being.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Miss Derry, thank you from Galaxy. I invented myself actually this technique. That's why I didn't find the theory. I didn't put the theory there. What teacher makes mistake technique? So I invented by myself actually. But actually, I got the inspiration from English books when I taught college students. There are several sentences, especially in practicing grammar. There are some wrong information in present tense. For example, Eiffel Tower is in London. So the student must revise the sentences that way. So they have to state negative sentence and then the positive sentence. Okay, so I got the inspiration, but yeah, same. But I use it. I try to implement it to young learners, and it was successful. Thank you. I hope it answers your questions.
Okay, thank you, Miss Ida.
Yes.
We have 2 more questions here. Hopefully the time will be managed well. Yeah. Okay, Miss Sugi Arni, how long do you usually apply this technique in one session of Zoom, Miss Ida?
How long? Actually, in the whole hour. Okay, 60 minutes. I implemented from the beginning, but before I implemented the technique, I had to make sure that the students already understand the vocabularies, the format, and so on. So it is It is done since the beginning of the minutes. So 60 minutes is better. But it has to be different ways. Because we should avoid that the students get bored with the activities. But the student is already familiar with my technique because I implemented this several times. Oh yeah, okay, Miss Ida is going to tell us that all sentences are wrong. They do like that.
I can imagine that, yeah.
Yes, okay.
Okay, how about this one from Miss Poppy Umi, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Bu Ida, how many sessions do you spend for completing the whole process?
The whole process, once again, 60 minutes.
The whole process, it's the research or the sessions, yeah, Miss Poppy?
Until you get the result. I mean, they change their attitude, or they change their competence.
Oh, I see.
Two terms, yeah, probably.
Yeah. Yes. I taught this class since they were in Gayal 1A, and I lost my ideas how to, finding the techniques, how to keep them involved. And I found this technique is very beneficial and challenging for them. So teaching this class is not only challenging for me, but also I have to give them a challenging activities like
True. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go to Miss Atin first from Galaxy. Have you applied this technique to students of other program like GEA or ET?
Yes.
Did it work?
Yes, it worked. But I didn't put them into my research. Okay. Since I was successful, and when I thought I'd be successful in implementing this technique to my KL, and then I tried to implement it to my ET and also my GEA, and it's quite successful in engaging them, especially in fluency. If you want to encourage them for fluency. Okay,
nice, yeah. And I hope we still have time for one more question from Ms. Poppy again. Is it possible to apply it? Wait a minute. Is it possible to apply it to different grammar points, not only the simple present tense?
Of course. It depends on our creativity.
For all.
Applicable.
Okay.
Have you tried it, Miss Idah?
Yes. For example, physical appearance. Okay, for certain people, and then past tense, simple past tense. I show the picture, but I wrote the wrong sentences, so they have to revise the sentences in such a way. But for higher level, maybe more challenging or more difficult sentences.
Okay, thank you, Miss Idah.
Thank you.
Okay, before I forget, I have put the link to our feedback form for our wonderful parallel presenters here, and what they have done here, hopefully it will inspire us to do the same thing, yuk kita bikin research, hopefully it will inspire all the teachers to try out new techniques and new ways of teaching, because as teachers, I know that sometimes we get bored with our own pace of teaching, right? Not only the students, but also the teachers feel the same way, Okay, so we have the feedback form. You can complete the feedback form. I guess we have sometimes, if you want to ask one or two questions again to Miss Titut and Miss Idah, you are welcome to ask the question while you are completing the feedback form.
Okay. I think this is the year of Miss Titut. I have to give a complimentary for Miss Titut. She gave presentation from the first day of LIA virtual gathering. Excellent.
It's been a tiring week.
Titut's year. Okay. Nearpod. Actually, we have tried in Pamulang. We have tried using Nearpod also, but if I'm not mistaken, only one or two teachers applied it to Gale classes. Okay. And we haven't tried using it for the whole session.
Yes. There's one question, Bu, from Pak Marcus Gatot
Go
here.
ahead.
Okay, do we have to tell the students mistake or just use the technique teacher makes mistake? Excellent techniques, institutes are humble enough to make mistake and let. At the beginning, I tried to say teacher makes mistake. Today we are going to practice teacher makes mistakes, and then there is a talkative student. Miss, maksudnya apa sih teacher makes mistake tuh? Are you making mistake? Kok teacher makes mistake? Something like this. Yes, so you have to revise it. I wrote the wrong sentences, so you have to revise the sentences. Something like that, Pak Gatot.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
Yeah, Bu Ida,
Yeah.
I have one question. So you main focus would be on grammar accuracy, ya Bu ya. So you ignore what is it? Misspelled words or mechanics and things like that. Since what is it? Students need to type, right? So
Yes.
you just
Yes.
what is it? Yeah, like missing full stops and things like that, and then misspelled words, things like that. You just focus on grammar accuracy, ya Bu ya.
Yes, but sometimes I also remind the students to what is it, because this is typing, so it means writing. So that I tell them to revise the sentence with capital letters. If it is they wrong with, was it they make mistake by putting don and then without apostrophe, or nouns without s or something like that, it's okay. I don't want to discourage them actually.
Okay, we have a question from Pasar Minggu. The question must be for both presenters. Yeah, how long have you prepared for this research?
Institute.
Basically, I tried out for one term, introducing the nearpod, and then the other term for the research. So yeah, more or less 2 terms.
Yes.
It really depends on your purpose and goals. If you have achieved what you aim to, I think it won't take too long.
Yeah.
What about Ibu Ida?
Yeah, so since I get used to doing research,
wow.
this is I remember this is my sixth card, my fifth, I still remember. So every time,
curious person.
yes, every time I found new technique, I wrote down, I compiled the data, I tried to search the book and so on, and then I wrote it down. So I took a month to write the full paper.
Wow, great.
Have a personal, what do you call it? You have a personal journal, yeah?
Yes.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Month.
Okay, and we have an idea from Mr. Asraf.
Yes.
We can also discuss common grammar mistakes to our higher level students.
Yes, that's a great idea. Good.
Sure.
Good. Sure.
It's applicable for all levels and all teaching techniques, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to ask the committee first. If you have questions, well, we have 2 to 3 minutes to ask the questions.
Yeah, so I think my research can be, what is it? Ibu Ida loves writing so much. No, not really, actually. Okay. What is it? So everyone here maybe continue my research because, for example, I focus on accuracy. Why don't you implement the technique for higher levels and focus on both, not only accuracy, but also fluency. By implementing nearpod, or the teacher makes mistake combined with nearpod belongs to institute, it's very, what is it?
Challenging.
Challenging, yes. Challenging means difficult.
Trying to find the positive words to make sure that people are not going to get down by the word difficult. Yeah. So we would rather say challenging. Yeah. Okay. Actually, what the researchers have done, actually, it was challenging for all of us. Yeah. Not only teachers, also AOOs, or for those who love to write or make research about their teaching techniques. Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. So if you have done the feedback form, I'm going to transport you back to the main room. And thank you, Miss Idah Maulidah.
Thank you.
So
Thank you all. That's very interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's very interesting one.
Yeah. I'll see you there. Bye.
Bye.
you.